Hi, I'm Tealish and you're watching Coffee and Clix. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe, and click on the link tree found in the description of this video for links to my media content. Enjoy, and don't forget, wake up and smell the Clix. Hi, I'm Tealish and you're watching Coffee and Clix. In today's episode, I have the pleasure of talking with my world champion teammates. This is the team that myself and these two other individuals, we all got together as a team during the World Championships in Memphis, and we were able to win the Team World Championship. My guests today are Azarith, Stryffe, and TJ Wheeler. So congratulations, guys. I'm gonna try to keep this interview as objective as possible. I have as much as I can with I have all the questions listed out, so we'll try our best. Okay, but yes, congratulations, guys. Thank you for joining me today.
Yeah, congratulations to you too.
Yeah, congrats as well.
And so TJ and Azarith, I want to start by asking you, we were as together, the three of us, we were the team world champions in Memphis. What was the team building process like, and what were your team builds?
Go ahead, TJ, since
TJ, you start.
Your team building was literally just give me these figures.
Yes,
basically, yes.
I obviously know the answers to these questions, so I'm just asking them to you to basically tell everybody that's watching.
Right. So basically, we looked at the boxes. We had an idea. We wanted to do X-Men. We kind of wanted to try to do robots, and then we thought maybe mystical could happen. And when we opened the boxes, I was like, "Oh, the mystical pieces are all here."
All of our super rares were mystical.
Basically, weren't they? So I ended up on Captain Britain, Monarch, Wolverine, Danny Moonstar, White Priestess, and then the Common Magic to get everybody around. And then also the Starlight Sword and the Murmasa Blade.
And so, TJ, out of your team, who was like the all-star of the team?
I know the answer to that question.
What was the MVP of your team?
Oh, Danny Moonstar's the MVP. Easy. Because it doesn't matter. Like, my team was a little maybe underpowered for most matchups, but when you can mind control three of their pieces, it doesn't matter.
Well, did you find that your opponents were going after Danny a lot, like trying to KO her? Because she's only got toughness, right? She's got 17 toughness.
She has super senses also.
Towards the end of her dial, right?
Yeah, so a lot of people would hit her once and then not able to hit her again. But I also think that some people just didn't realize that she had the triple bolt mind control until it happened. So she typically got to do that first before they hit her.
Were you ever able to get a free mind control off with the?
I was about to ask, did you ever get the dream of the double mind control?
Once against I think our round 2 opponent, the mystical team, I was able to do it, but he actually KO'd Danny. He's the only person that got her off. So.
And Azarith, what team were you playing, and who came in handy the most on your team?
Yeah, sure. So my build was a +7 X-Men. It was Blink, Double Common Storm, Jean Grey, the Psychic Projection, Peepers, Recruiter Cyclops, and Uncommon Magic. We opened up Blink, and I honestly only asked you because TJ was already building the mystical team. If you felt comfortable playing Blink, because I did.
Yeah.
And you said you would rather not, so that's why I took Blink. MVP was honestly Storm. Those common storms were just so much control. so much battlefield control that it was a lot of teams just weren't ready for it.
Yeah, and so like, how did your team work? Because you had two storms, and then you had Blink, and then what were your other attackers on that team?
Recruiter Cyclops was really the only other attacker, unless like Blink died, and then I could bring in like Core of the Burning Heart through recruiter, which I did have to do at one point.
Okay.
Um, but it's just being able to attack from safety through Blink's portals, and then I'm +7, and I ended up winning map most of the time. So I'd go into negative zone, and just the two storms, just being able to knock people around into the side rooms to make them getting back out very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Plus Peeper with the shield TA was really big.
Okay, and then and so you would like knock people into the rooms, and then use the portals to shoot at them with Cyclops,
That,
or
or I would like have Blink go hit them and then come back because she can go through walls. But it
okay.
was usually like the storms would do it more of a control element. So it'd be like after I've already hit them, or like in top 16, I was able to get him down to just Merlin, and then Merlin never got to make another attack.
Okay, and so throughout the tournament, like, were there any characters? I mean, this question for both of you. Me myself, my team that I played was the X-Men. Just a kind of like solid all around X-Men team. It had the Perplex, the Outwit, because my team was Roulette and Tarot, and then I had my attackers were Rogue, the other Cyclops, the one that has
The
like
common
the common Cyclops, and
black suit Magneto.
oh yeah, and then I had Black Suit Magneto.
Huh.
Magneto was huge. So those three attackers, and then with the possibility of two outwits. Oh yeah, and then I had Gorgon, which was your call, Azarith. You told me that I should put Gorgon on my team, which
Yep.
really helped because then I had the extra outwit. I had possibility of two outwits or two perplexes, and then I had and then I had a prob, and then I had theme probs. It was really a well balanced team. And I had like a lot of different weapons. I could, like, if they came in close, I could hit them with Rogue. If they stayed back, then I could shoot at them.
It's funny that the Gorgon ended up on your team because I was trying to push you away from Cypher because I needed Cypher to make my team
Hmm.
work. And then 3 minutes after, like 3 minutes before we're done building, TJ realizes that Storm doesn't have mystical.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So I have to take the second Storm and find a way to make it. So Cypher didn't make it on my main force. Um, Ended up on my sideline for recruiter.
Yeah, and I also needed. I mean, we kind of traded Cipher for Magic too because I really needed
Yeah,
Magic.
yeah.
TJ had the Magic, and now he wanted him on his team, I think. But I really
Mhm.
needed someone to transport everybody around, and that gave me the extra perplex too. So
Yep.
Magic came in really handy
And
on
I
my team.
oddly enough, like, honestly, I didn't need the taxi. After,
Hmm.
especially after playing the games, I never needed it.
Right. Yeah.
So
The double storm gave you some flight and carry around too,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
yeah, because for me, what I would do is I would carry most of everybody up with Magic, and then I would carry Cyclops with Magneto. But then
Hmm.
hope that Cyclops hit leadership to untoken Magneto, and then that happens sometimes, and then it worked out. Um, but so what characters overall in the tournament surprised you? Like figures, any figures surprised you as like, oh, this was better than I thought it was going to be.
Mm,
For me, 100% Monarch. I
that
put
one.
him on only because Storm ended up not being mystical. Uh, and then he came in clutch 3 or 4 times throughout the day, just
Yeah.
opening up walls and or getting rid of water, whatever he needed to do that just let me shoot when I shouldn't be able to shoot with my team.
Hmm.
I was on record on the JSA podcast that Monarch was not good. He was virtually unplayable and sealed. So yeah, that one.
And he has
And
Empower, which is just good with Wolverine.
Yeah, that's true.
And probably I was playing two close attackers really with Captain Britain and Wolverine, so the Empower was really clutch.
TJ, were you able to Muramasa Blade anybody? Or
Um, I don't remember ever being able to roll the 2 to 3 or the 1 to 3.
I was gonna say,
I
didn't you
think
just
every
roll sixes?
I just basically rolled 5s and 6s on his blades every time I would try. Uh, I think the one game I think I may have killed a Bay the Blood Moon because I Muramassa'd him.
okay.
No, it was Summoner. I Muramassa'd Summoner.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
yep,
Yeah,
There we go.
yep, that'll do it.
yeah,
Well, that's really big because Summoner's tough to face. You know, with all the stop
yes,
clicks and everything.
yeah. It was that was a tough one.
So, what do you think was the what do you know? If you're looking back at X of Swords or Ten of Swords, and in terms of sealed, what do you think is the best keyword to play? I know a lot of
X-Men.
people X-Men, right? I think X-Men was probably the best keyword.
X-Men's probably the easiest to play.
Yeah, it's the easiest to build for
Yeah,
sure.
there's, but I liked Mystical. There was a lot of good pieces I didn't realize were Mystical in the set.
Yeah,
I mean, you still even have like from the other side, you have Merlin that's Mystical and
yeah.
Lady Roma, Mad Jim, all options there.
How did you do against? I mean, I faced a couple of matchups where I had to go up against Danger Room constructs. How did you do against teams with Danger Room constructs? Like,
Did you
trying to,
play against any, TJ?
I avoided them the
Yeah.
whole time.
I played one round against robots with Juggernaut, Mystique, Sean, and Apocalypse, and then 2 Furies. Um, I had to work to get my points, but man, did Storms do work in that game.
Mhm.
Just I was able to body block and play defense with Blink, like Blink playing defense for the rest of my team because she does free damage when she gets missed.
Yeah.
And then just like through the portal, shoot Juggernaut, and then the storms just pushed Juggernaut far enough away that he couldn't come in and make another attack. He couldn't come in and make attacks. Um, and then like Mystique was tying, like my Blink was tying up their Mystique because Blink has improved movement characters, so she just goes out, hits somebody, and comes back.
Oh yeah. So I mean, even though Mystique's got plasticity, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Yep.
That's
But
crazy.
I had to work for the points that I got. I'll tell you that. I didn't feel good in that game until it was over.
What about how did you do against chases or like extremely good pulls? Like, did anybody have like a Nimrod Prime or a Saturnine or a?
I don't know, TJ. How'd you do against Saturnine?
Uh, well, I scored nothing. I think.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just. Not only was the matchup just awful for me, but the dice went cold that round.
Yeah.
I don't know that I hit an attack the entire game.
Oof.
And the game lasted maybe 25 or 30 minutes. And I just got to watch Az and you play your games.
I didn't play it. I played against one chase. I played against Merlin. That game was tough just because it was a 150 point Merlin and it's hard. It was just hard for me to chew through it. If I had like one more turn, I probably would have killed it. And then the other team that I had a really difficult time with was Full Point Bay the Blood Moon with Hope Summers. Like that was and playing Scott, like playing Scott Crampton. Those games were rough.
I think that was our toughest matchup. I mean, other than the last matchup with Phoenix Nest, but I think our like we had a really hard time against 4 Points Gaming Club. I my two matchups were again in I played Ed twice, Ed Arnold Berkovitz, and he had a great team. He had White Sword, chased White Sword, and then he had Danger Room Apocalypse and Whiz Kid and something else. But I mean, he was just like he would just like go base you and like flurry you to death, right? So,
Right.
and my first matchup against him was in the Swiss rounds, and because we played them twice, and I was able to KO White Sword, but he still went up on he was still one on points, and I lost to him twice, and then the second time was in the top cut, and we just had like a standoff. So it was like I was we went to the desert wedding because I won map I put him on an open map, and then I just kind of sat there and inched up with magic, moving everybody up, but like just out of his reach. And then he just kept on clearing, and I just kept on clearing. Perplex up defense, clear. Perplex up defense, clear. And then like time was running out, and then like I had one guy tokened up, and he kind of just took a shot at me. He scored 30 points, and then like the game was over. So.
Oh man.
Oof.
Yeah, that was it. But luckily, you guys came through, and we ended up winning that round. So, I was really happy for that. Every time one of us needed like another one of us to come through, it just happened.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of teams, honestly.
I don't know that we ever went 3-0, right? Or maybe one round.
I don't think so. I don't think
we did.
I don't think we went 3-0 at all. I don't know. But
So that speaks a good story for us. I think two of us were 5-3, and the other one was 6-2. Is that right?
Yep. Tony had the best record of the three of us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yep.
yeah, I mean, when you guys pulled. I mean, I think Azarith's team was the toughest to play. Also, like Azarith with I don't know.
It was a much more
group
like
effort. It was a group effort.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And like Azarith and TJ, what were your toughest matchups?
Scott for sure. Scott was playing X-Men with low point Bishop, full point Bay the Blood Moon, 40 point Hope Summers, common Magic, a common Storm, and Cypher. I lost to. We played them round 1, and then we played them in top 8. I lost to Scott in round 1, and I actually ended up learning a lot from that matchup. So when we played again in top 8, which is funny because Scott also said it. We also were sitting there during the lunch break, just kind of like theory crafting with each other, like of how to play the teams against like his top 16 opponent. And then we laughed that we have to play in top 8. But we played the second game like completely differently than we played the first one. My target priority was different. And I just made like one like ballsy move of TK out blink and just fling her across the map, and he wasn't expecting that. And then I hit a clutch shape change. It was like the only one that I hit all day.
Yeah,
I had an interesting matchup like that where I played against Ken Small, and when we were playing against the Chicago Clix Mafia, and he had Emma Frost, and he had Honey Badger, and he won map, and he brought me to the Morlock tunnels, and I just went up and based him. Like I just carried everybody straight up to him, and only like on a slightly weird angle so that like he couldn't hit me, right? But he ended up hitting leadership, and then he TK'd Emma, and Emma shot Rogue, but didn't kill Rogue, but she shot Rogue and hit her for quite a bit. And then I was able to KO Honey Badger the next turn because I was able to outwit her defense with Gorgon, and then just hit Honey Badger, and I KO'd Honey Badger. I mean, Honey Badger was at full points, I believe, on his team. And then I went up on points, and then I just kind of like ran away for the rest of the game because he was having a hard time getting into position with Emma Frost. So I kind of just like took shots. I was able to KO Cyclops with Magneto, and then I just kind of hid Rogue, like magic carried Rogue back to safety, and Rogue was like on her like second to last click by when time was called. So that was a good matchup. TJ, did you have any standout games?
Games that I won. For sure, the toughest was playing Isaac twice.
That's right. You beat Isaac 2 times.
Yeah, but his team was, realistically, this recruiter mechanic is what allowed me to win that because he just kept bringing things in. But also, I guess, to be fair, he couldn't have recruited anything in if I wasn't KOing things. So, a little trade-off.
Him and I talked that like recruiter is literally like you need 1 or 2 more turns
Yeah,
every
that's basically how
game.
it worked out. So those games were very stressful, even though I won because I mean he was ending the game and I'm up. I won the first round. I think 345 to 250 or 240, but he had 6 pieces still on the board
Yeah.
because of the recruiter. And a very similar situation in our top 8 matchup. So it
Mm-hmm.
was very stressful. If he gets a couple more turns, then he beats me. He wipes my team.
Yeah, I remember him saying at one point, I think it was on the Dial H interview. There were games where he literally had none of the starting force
Mm-hmm.
characters on the board still.
Yeah,
It was all just recruited characters.
right. And he said that he almost got mercy ruled in one game. I think it was three.
Yeah,
He had
395 or
395.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually overheard, like I saw on one of the Dial H interviews that Scott was talking about how he might actually believe that recruiter is just bad.
Um,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to think about that. I mean, like my game against Lucas was largely won because he used recruiter. Like,
yeah, but in that game, like specifically, and I'll talk to that point with my top 16 game. If Lucas doesn't use recruiter, he loses harder
Right.
yeah,
because it
yeah.
allowed him to maintain to match tempo. Um, and that was the same in my top 16. My blink died to Captain Britain Rogue, and if I can't recruiter in Cora of the Burning Heart, I can't win that game.
Mm-hmm.
So TJ and Azarith, what are your opinion? What's your opinion on recruiter in general?
Don't use it willy nilly.
No, it's definitely used in a last ditch
Yeah,
effort. Catch up.
break
It's a
glass
catch.
in case
Yeah,
of
it's a catch up
emergency.
mechanic. It's if you're behind, you use this. It's your Hail Mary.
Yeah,
And you have to be really well aware during the game of what the score is too,
yep.
which is yeah,
Yeah, I
takes
think if you're going to
practice.
recruit, you need to be ready. You have to wipe them. You have to kill everything they have if you're going to win.
Yep.
Um. So all right, I mean let's move. I mean so once again, congratulations. I mean we're team champs. It feels great. But also you and Azarith. I didn't play the singles event, but you guys did, right? Did you guys play the singles event?
Yep,
Yes, it
I
did.
did.
So how was that? How did that go?
I'll let TJ go
Uh,
first because I'm pretty sure I did better than him.
yeah, just a little bit, right? So I actually ended up 4-2, which wasn't too bad. I just didn't have enough points to break in. I think I was in 46th and missed cut by a couple hundred points, but had a blast. Played against every round was fun. Like I've never had a tournament that was like that, where every single round the opponent was fun to play against.
Mm-hmm.
And I never played against the same type of team twice during the whole day either. So that was kind of different than
Refreshing.
normal. Yeah, I don't think anyone else really had that experience. They were either always playing Apocalypse and Thanos, or they were playing monsters, is what I've heard a lot of.
So every team that you played was a different team.
Yeah, round one I played against, or well, round two after the bye, I played against the Scarlet Witch, the Carrion Iron Man team. Uh, then round three I played against Apocalypse. It was Lucas's Apocalypse team, which was very cool. Um, then the next round I played against Animals, and then I played against an X-Men team, and then I played against another Thanos.
And what was your team?
So I played the Thanos, Dan's build, Thanos, Collector, Hope, uh, Molecule Man, and Star Sapphire with the cloak.
Okay. And you went 4-2. What were the wins and the losses like? What was the breakdown like?
So I lost to Lucas's Apocalypse team, and I lost to the Animals team. Had last action been called about 30 seconds earlier, I would have won the Animals matchup. But he killed Star Sapphire right at the end.
Oh,
Yeah. So that was the difference in 5-1 to me. But he ended up making top 16. So I won't call that a bad loss.
yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
but it definitely a tough matchup. Because the positioning of that map, we played on Krakoa. The positioning was rough for him because of my barriers. And so for him he was having to take a long time to count squares, which understandable because he's having to move lockjaws across the map and where they drop people.
Mm-hmm.
And I've positioned barriers just annoyingly. So we're both taking longer turns. And so we only got, I think I got 3 turns and he got 4. So it was the lowest turns of the tournament for me too.
Okay. And then as what were you playing, and how'd you do?
Um, so I got knocked out of top 8 by Isaac. Um, so I went 5-1 in Swiss. I had like almost 1,500 points, I think. Which when I got when I was 4-1 with like 1,100 points, I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm in because I'm hearing people winning with like 10 points. But I wanted to finish off the Swiss. I was playing Unthemed Collector Apocalypse. It's a team that I've kind of been touting for the last couple of months. So it's a Apocalypse Collector or Legacy Apocalypse Collector, Molecule Man Commissioner, Mary Jane Watson, a Moloid, and then 90 points of X-Men swap. So Kate Pride plus Professor X, which gave me a lot of like really interesting 2-character swap options. Primarily, it allowed me to go into Hope Summers Jubilee when I would win map. Or funny enough, I played against 2 mystical teams. The only difference between the 2 was Scarlet Witch or Blackheart. The first round 2, I played against the Blackheart version. He won map. Just said we were going to Otherworld Castle. I respectfully told him that I have a Jubilee on my sideline, and he chose a different map. Which was actually the whole reason that she was there. She was there to be a deterrent. And then the second one, we went to Otherworld Castle. I told him, I have a Jubilee, and he's like, "That's fine." And I'm like, "Okay."
All right. Yeah.
My Jubilee has better stats than everyone else's Jubilee. Because of Collector.
Yeah.
So I finished Swiss 5-1. Played top 32. I played against Secret Six. I wish I could remember his name. I just remember his nickname is Red. Great player. Really like close game. I think I won by like 40 points. Something that surprised everybody all throughout the whole weekend is I'm not afraid to mix it up with my Apocalypse. Like everybody like keeps theirs back. I'm not afraid to be mid map making attacks with Apocalypse. Against Dan, who was my only loss in Swiss, my Apocalypse was in his starting area.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then top 16, I played against Josafa Alves, who one of my best friends. He had some very unfortunate dice in that game. He missed a 5 3 times to basically deal with my Jubilee. Kill my Jubilee, actually. And then I just kind of ran buckshot over him. And I played against Isaac. Isaac and I had a great game. The deciding factor of that game was he flipped the exploit weakness card on his alpha turn. And I got chewed up by that.
Who is vulnerable to exploit on your team?
Everybody.
Oh yeah, even the Apocalypses, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So the main problem is though, it wasn't even like that. It didn't hit Apocalypse. It didn't hit Hope because I copied Invincible with Death.
Yeah.
But because of Eni, who has exploit, and Venom Wolverine has exploit, he was making 3 attacks that just killed my Collector.
Oh, okay.
Like without like me ever getting a Super Senses roll.
Speaking of Collector, I mean, now with the let's finish.
Big sad.
Yeah, I feel like we have. I feel like we have to talk about that a little bit.
Big sad.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
it's better
both
for
of your
the
teams,
game.
both your teams. It affects both your teams that you played.
So the problem with that, with the clarification, and that's what it is. People need to stop calling it an errata. It's not an errata. It's a clarification.
Yeah.
Is it was misruled at prior events. Everybody has been playing it a certain way. And then the rules clarification came up before top 16 of Worlds, and they graciously allowed us to continue playing it as we had been playing it the whole tournament. Which I reached out to the judge staff. I'm like, thank you for making that decision. I know it's hard to accept, like, doing that, but it was the right play for the players.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the clarification to Collector now is he is a burst. I use burst in quotations because it is not actually a game term anymore. It checks at the beginning of the game if all your characters are from a different set. All characters on the starting who are on the map at the time of the effect get +1.
That means your pogs that you produce from
Correct.
Apocalypse do not get the +1.
Nor do my X swap characters if I lose map.
Does Jubilee get it, or
not if I lose map?
No. Okay.
If I win map, yes,
because your
I can do my X swap first.
Yeah, your opponent. If you lose map, your opponent decides what resolves first,
Correct.
and they're going to say resolve your burst first.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, one thing that I do want to get clarified as well, which I will probably ask, is if I am playing a character with mind control and my opponent is playing Collector, if I mind control his character, do they still get the buff because it is a burst? It is not an aura. If they are deciding that it works like it does, like it as a burst, it should.
But it's not a friendly character anymore.
But that doesn't matter. The friendly character is only for the activation of the power of the trait.
Okay.
If that's because that's how they are clarifying it. If that's how they are clarifying it to shore up that, like, pogs and characters that join your force can't get it. If my character had that trait active on their figures and I mind control them, do they retain the bonus?
I bet that they rule that ends the duration, and they don't have it anymore either.
That would be wild.
Well, here's a crazy thought. Now, maybe, do you think, even though this is just a clarification, do you think they're going to now errata Collector to make it go back to the way it was? No. I don't think they're going to do that, but
I don't think so.
I had a good talk with Anthony Barnes.
What was the actual intent? That's what I'm just wondering. What was the intent?
The burst, according to the rules team and designers, the intent was a burst.
Okay.
We had all just been playing it wrong because the wording is very bad.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, we also did get a ruling on that during the Silver Age event.
That was different, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
do you think Collector's still a good piece?
I don't think so. Not anymore. It's just his benefit, like, being able to do, like, what I was doing and what, like, the mind control teams were doing with him was such a huge advantage. The fact that you now have this extremely limiting team build of you have to play a character from a different set, it's not worth it.
Yeah, it's more just like a casual fun piece. Yeah.
I mean, there's probably something there, especially in Silver Age. There's probably
Silver Age,
something.
he's still good. Like, the only problem is he doesn't buff, like, your ID cards anymore.
But I feel like he was probably undercosted at 25 the way we were playing him.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably true.
And now his point cost is probably correct.
Yeah, now it makes more sense of why he's 25 points.
Yeah.
So as far as the singles event, so Azarith, you were what? You were 8th place in the tournament?
I think it was pieced out. I think I got 5th.
5th. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, that's really good. I mean, and I think the team event. The team event was 171 players. It was 57 teams.
Yep.
Of
singles
57,
was 168.
And singles was 168. So, I mean, a huge
and there were
turnout.
68 people playing first round.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody
100
had a buy,
of us
right?
had a buy. 100 of us had a buy.
Did any of those 68 people that played first round actually make top 16, or?
I don't think so. I don't know.
Don't recall
I can't confirm that. But man, so having the first round bye was really nice. One, because it, like, just let me kind of stay relaxed as I wake up in the morning. But I got to walk around and, like, see some really interesting teams that, like, based on how my day had gone, I never would have seen them.
Mm-hmm.
Like somebody was playing Full Point Koi, the super rare from Empire, and I'm like, that's awesome. It's probably not going to do well, but that's awesome. I saw somebody playing Red Root. I'm sorry, anybody that's playing these, I'm not making fun of you. The figures are. I wish they were better than they are.
Yeah,
I tried to
Red
make
Root.
Koi work. But yeah, it was just having the buy was a great thing. I'm glad they decided to make it a 300 point buy and not 150. I talked to the judges about that. I'm like, if you give 150, you're basically rewarding somebody with the somebody didn't show up and there's not an opponent for you award.
Yeah.
Right.
So what did you think of the tarot card situation at Worlds?
I love tarot.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's a very, very, very good design game element.
Yeah, I heard I was listening to one podcast. I don't remember who it was, but they said that tarot slowed the game down. Um, and I
No.
don't know what game they were playing. Because literally, like the tarot deck, playing tarot like was not slow at all. It's literally like I would have to like remind my opponent every now and then, or they would have to remind me. It's like, hey, flip your tarot card, and then it's literally just flip it, done. Um,
Yeah.
it didn't really like my deck was designed to not impact my decision making very much. So it didn't change, like whatever card came up didn't really change what I was gonna do. Um, but that's because I played a lot of low impact cards against me. Um, but yeah, I think tarot is a great mechanic, and I'm excited to see where the game goes with the new storyline OP tarot cards being introduced into the meta now.
Oh yeah, because they're not legal
Sure.
yet, or are they
They
just
are now.
they are now legal? So they were not
Some
legal
of,
for the tournament.
Correct.
is it a
Even
some of them are legal now or all of them are legal now?
I think it's going to be all of them because there's no real events until they would all be legal anyway.
Right. Fair enough.
So yeah.
I mean, the one that I think is crazy from the OP storyline is the Hierophant.
Which
Mhm.
one? Which one is that?
That's the one that says you
Uh,
cannot replace or modify values.
One's good.
So you can like hypersonic, full range, whatever, or like full move charge, full
Yeah.
move running shot.
There's two
yeah.
storyline OP cards that I'm really excited for based on this team that I've been kind of kicking around. That a little plug for my co-host Devin Owens, who did an entire tarot card reference guide
Nice.
for people to check out if they're like overwhelmed like to get into tarot.
Mm-hmm.
He does an entire breakdown of tarot cards, like which ones are good, which ones aren't. Um, but he introduced me to Justice, which is a major arcana that says both players pick a friendly character. Their stats are 8, 10, 17, 3, and 4 range. Which is great for certain characters. Like Sakari and Iron Man, whose base stats are 10, 10, 17, 3. Or 10, 10, 17, 2. And Paparazzi's. The other one I really like is Page of Pentacles. It says no improved targeting, and characters with stealth can be placed into a square of hindering within 6 squares. Which is really good when you have stealth characters. Like the fact that they can't
Yeah.
use improved
No,
targeting.
that's a crazy. Yeah, that one's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the other one that you said, the first one you said was it makes a character into those stats just for that turn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for that turn.
Okay.
Well, until your next turn. It's until the tarot card goes away.
Okay. Yeah. So that's extremely good for Paparazzi and also Sakari and Iron Man.
Yeah, he loses
Right.
1 effective reach speed, 2 range, but he gains a damage value.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really in on the Three of Pentacles.
Which one? Which one is that?
That's the if you phase and you move.
Oh, you
less, 6 or
Thanos
less.
lover!
So what is it? If you phase,
make
you
a
move...
make a free attack. You phase and then you can make a free attack.
Oh,
If you
okay.
phase 5
Yeah.
or less squares, you can make an attack.
Yeah. So I like that one myself.
Oh, you're gonna have to run.
You're
You're gonna have to run 2 Pentacles then. You have to run 6 and 3.
I have done that before in one of the Brad events. I definitely did that.
Yep.
So
So TJ, what do you think about Batman team up coming up? And well, actually, the next set is Avengers Forever. But I mean, I think what everybody's talking about right now is the equipment rules changes that are coming up in next year. I mean, we'll start with you, TJ. What do you think about
Oh, the new
what's
rules.
going on?
I would like some clarification on the Mad Gem with the Colossals, and how broken or amazing that's going to be.
So
Or when it,
what is it currently? So well, not currently because it's going to happen, I guess, when Batman Team Up comes out. But
yes, I
there's
guess in January is when that's
Yeah.
projected.
but
So
they're saying that characters non-standard, if characters become non-standard characters, they can
mm,
keep their equipment or something like
So,
that.
yeah,
so what
so
they did is they changed it to the check is during the assignment phase. They removed the non-standard characters can't be equipped and moved it to they can't be assigned equipment.
correct.
And Mad Jim just equips
He
the
equips a
character,
character.
so they will no longer have that limitation on standard characters.
But they have also removed the ability to equip the way we know it now.
Correct.
Yeah,
You
but Matt
cannot
Jim.
equip. He will be the only one that can do it.
Mm-hmm.
And what you were talking about, Tony, is they also added in characters that become non-standard characters can maintain the use of their equipment.
Mm-hmm.
Also, characters that change forces, i.e., mind control,
Mm-hmm.
can use the effect of their equipment.
Yes.
But to your point, though, I think that the swap mechanic would also allow you to equip from the map.
Yeah,
They
because
drop.
you just won't be able to assign them to your force or you won't be able to put them in as special objects. Like they should never be on the map outside of their unequip effect.
Right. So I
Yeah.
think about Silver Age and a Dark Phoenix ending up with a sword
Yeah,
Or the power gem.
I think I
or the
saw.
power gem.
Yeah. I think I saw. Jay Solomon posted some meme about like Galactus having the cloak of levitation.
The cloak of levitation.
Yeah, I was talking about that the other day too. That's going to be fun.
That's actually he really needs that.
Yeah.
Wait, would you actually play him at like 100 or something, Galactus, or?
Look, I've tried to play Galactus at 100. Don't tempt me with a good time. I
It'd be
played
worth
him.
a shot once.
I tried to build him with spin ring and like 3 2x2 magnetos.
So you can boop him up the map.
Yeah, because of the way placements with multi-based characters work, it basically lets you whale tail them out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's in 2, you place him in 3, but because he's a 2x6, he actually goes to like 9.
Mm-hmm.
It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Gosh, and then you could do it again and put him in 10, but he's actually in 60.
Yeah, and then you spin him all the way back twice.
Amazing.
Yeah, now he can equip him. You can equip the spin.
Yeah, now I can sidestep.
Oh, full map reach Galactus.
That's great.
And then you lose map because it's unthemed and you feel real bad.
And also, I think the other thing that people are talking about with equipment is that you can assign as many equipment as you want. There's no limit to.
Correct. They don't count as against your object limits anymore.
Yeah, there used to be a limit of 3 special objects on your force. Now,
well, there was a limit to 3 objects. Period.
3 objects. Period. Yeah, a combination of standard or
standard and special.
Yeah.
Right.
So now,
yeah, I like that change a lot at myself.
Yeah.
You do like that, or yeah?
Yeah, I really
wonder
do.
What you thought about that?
Yeah, thematically, like it's like they said, like the characters are going to come with their best equipments when they're coming to a fight. So why would that guy forget his stuff?
Yeah. I think the other interesting thing coming out of the rules changes is we're going to see objects and equipment with keywords.
Yes.
And specifically the characters who have that same keyword will be able to assign either at a discounted rate or for free. We don't know which one yet, but they kind of hinted at that. But with Lantern keywords being a big thing coming in Batman Team Up, and they already showed us the Green Lantern ring, we can assume that there are going to be Lantern rings for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, I think my friends were talking about. One of my friends was talking about like playing 8 chips with like different, like the chainsaws and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
I'm here for it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, chip's gonna get pretty good. Yeah.
Oh, but the chips would have to take power actions to use the yellows.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I don't know.
yeah. Nah. To use what?
Like, so the way the keyword works, it's like they had to have the Green Lantern team or keyword to drop the
For free.
for free. So if you carried them up, they would have to take power actions to drop the yellow and orange chainsaws
Mm.
because they're
Can't they all
Green
just drop
Lantern
green
chips.
ones?
Uh, you can't equip. Well, I mean, I guess technically they could.
Yeah, they just
That's
all
true
use green
because they're
ones.
chips. They don't even need the equipment.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't need the equipment, so that works perfect for them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're gonna have. I don't know if they're gonna have green chainsaw. Do you have they previewed anything like that, or who
I,
knows, right?
I
I
think based
think
on the number of
I think they're supposed to have like
objects,
they said
57
it's
equipment or something like that.
yeah, I think it
and I
works out
think they
perfectly to
did.
beat all the
I think they
constructs.
did show a picture of the constructs that we have in different colors than we have.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we saw an orange chainsaw
Yeah.
and a red stop sign, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the amount of objects that are in the set, I think we're all just kind of assuming.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I mean, you don't think because you don't think it's too much to have like no limit on equipment on your team, like let's
You're
say you have
still
a
limited by the amount of points.
yeah, I mean like let's say you have a +7 theme team and all 7 of your characters have equipment. Is that like getting too crazy or is it
So
okay?
that means that you have between 35 and 70 points of your build devoted to equipment.
So you're probably gonna lose. Is that what you're saying?
Not
I
necessarily, but
you are playing, I think, at a handicap at that point because you're also probably playing in less optimal pieces to
Mm-hmm.
make room for the equipment.
Okay.
Um, I think what the benefit to it is less about like bypassing the equipment cap that we know, and it's going to be just having safe equips. It's actually a
agreed.
huge boost for the second player
Yes.
because now going second, you are still ready to fight on turn 1.
Yeah. That's another thing that I've been seeing on Facebook is some people are saying, oh now with the change to equipment, what are we gonna do turn 1? We're just gonna stare at each other.
Well, if you win map, you're going to pass.
Right.
That's all you do.
Yeah.
Because you probably still have full map reach unless if your team doesn't have full map reach, then you like creep up and you do what you would normally do.
Yeah.
But if you have full map reach, you just pass. Like, I don't understand what the question is.
No, you barrier so they can't come
Shut
land in
up.
front of you.
Or you move up a barrier or something like that. Yeah.
You barrier for sure so that they can't take the squares you want to use on your alpha.
Yeah. And what you're saying is you barrier to eat up the clock.
No, I don't like to eat up the clock. I like to have I don't want Lockjaw to stand in front of me on turn 1.
Sure.
So I block off his line for him to stand there.
But now you're ready to fight if they do that.
Yeah, I still don't want him there.
But that's the benefit. Like, I know the Fantastic Four team was literally just like turn 1, come across the map, be in your face. Like, if you have equips, like, you don't get to equip. Now it's that strategy is a little more risky.
For sure.
Also, it makes Destroyer much better.
I was going to say that's my
Yes.
answer to people playing 7 equipments is I'm playing Destroyer
Yeah.
more than I was before.
Yeah.
This was a question that the Dial H people were asking at Worlds. They were interviewing a lot of people. I know they asked me this. What is your opinion if you had to pick between Destroyer Prime and Mad Jim Jespers? As far
Well,
as
both of us actually had to make that decision for singles.
Yes,
and
we did.
And we both decided on Destroyer.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I may switch going forward. It's a very real possibility. And it also depends on, do I get to keep assigning, or do I get to assign Colossal's equipment? That would be amazing. Or not assign, but equip a Colossals
I mean,
with Mad Jim.
I'm assuming I don't think you're gonna be able to equip Colossals. I'm assuming I don't know.
I just want to equip Nimrod Prime. Just let me equip him.
But then Mad Jim can't do that. So
Like, I guess you shouldn't assume anything, but like that doesn't seem like something that they would allow to happen.
Well, and he would also be the only character in the game that can do it. And he can do it once.
yeah. Other than your swap and get them on the map and then equip from the map itself.
Oh yeah, so you would need to have Matt Jim in order to do that. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
I think Mad Jim is the less generic of the two. Destroyer can just go on any team. One, because he's free. That's the big selling point to him. Mad Jim, one, costs you 35 points. Granted, what you get for 35 points is great. And you have to be on the map. And so you're generally designing your team around him. So it might not fit every build.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Is it's philosophy based. Do you need Mad Gem for your main force to function? If so, yes. If not, then Destroyer.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you know, I never actually TJ and Azarith, are you? I mean, I like comic books. Are you guys comic book fans or?
Yes, but I don't read them.
I have a huge collection.
Yeah. So, like, what are your favorite characters?
For me, number one is always Magneto. But I have recently started collecting the new Gambit book.
Mm-hmm.
About 2 months ago, I think, is when it kicked off.
Who's writing Gambit right now?
Now, let's see. I don't ever know who's writing the book.
Oh, now I have to look it up.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same. But the covers are really cool, so that's what gets me in, because I typically don't read them when I buy them. They stay in the plastic.
Oh, okay.
It's Chris Claremont.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That's cool.
Oh, yeah, that's really
That's
nice.
awesome.
I typically try to read them online if I'm going to read them. And then I have all but 3 of the original New Mutants.
Okay. I actually have the first magazine size, first appearance of the New Mutants, and I also have New Mutants #1. They're both signed.
Yeah.
Obviously not. I have a pretty big collection.
Obviously 98's hard to come by from the first Deadpool, but
that one's a little hard to come by. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very expensive now. I wish I'd bought it a few years ago when it was like $90.
Yeah.
Now it's $500 and $600. So.
No, I have that X-Force one, but that one's not hard to come by.
Right.
I think that's his second appearance.
There's X-Force, and then I think you get first Domino. I think in X-Force too, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So yeah, I like to collect comics. I do the same thing you do though. I read them online, and then I keep them in the plastics, or I CGC a lot of them. I get them. I get the signature series. So
right.
I'll get them signed by. I'm actually going to New York Comic Con next weekend, and I think I'm really excited because Jonathan Hickman is going to be there. So he's a pretty big writer. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
Azarith, who are like your favorite comics and comic book series and stuff like that?
Sure. So I don't actually read comics, but what I do is I listen to a lot of YouTube videos that do synopses of comics.
Okay.
But Gambit has always been my favorite superhero ever since I was a kid. I'm a '90s kid. I grew up with X-Men animated, and just kind of fell in love with the character from there. My second favorite, which is very close, is Thor.
Yes,
I'm a huge
I
Thor
love Thor.
fan.
I'm a huge Thor
Um,
fan.
I love Norse mythology, um, and I've always enjoyed the character of Thor. I feel like there's a lot of good dynamics between the supporting cast and Thor himself.
Hmm.
It's a shame what they did to him in Empire.
It's
In
also a shame.
Clix.
It's also a shame what they did to him in Thor: Love and Thunder. In my opinion, what did you?
I
Whoa,
liked that
whoa,
movie.
whoa,
I liked it.
whoa. I love that movie.
The only thing that I said in the theaters to my mom while we were watching it was after about like the seventh or eighth time they made the Stormbreaker as a jealous uh girlfriend or boyfriend, as a jealous partner joke. I was like, okay, let's move on from this. They kind of killed that joke a little bit, but other than that, I really enjoyed that movie.
The
Um,
movie's called Love and Thunder. Stormbreaker should be involved and upset.
the best part about that movie happens in the first 5 minutes, and that's Thor doing the Jean-Claude Van Damme splits.
I heard somewhere that in the beginning of that movie, you know where the daughter, Gore's daughter, is like drawing on the rock.
Mm-hmm.
That she was drawing Batman on the rock.
That's
That's what I think you can find that somewhere.
funny.
Yeah.
I think that's actually Chris Hemsworth's daughter too.
Yeah, and also Chris Hemsworth's brother is in the movie also.
Yep, yep.
Oh, that's pretty
Both
cool.
of them actually. Both of his brothers are in it because I think it's Liam. Liam has always been the Thor in the joke like dramatization that Matt Damon as Loki does.
Yeah.
And then I think his other brother was somebody else in the movie.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so um yeah, I mean for me, Thor's probably like my number one, and Hawkeye. I like Thor and Hawkeye. But I like Hawkeye because of the comic book series. And I also like Vision. But just because of the comic book series, two of my favorite comic book series are Matt Fraction wrote this 22 book series on Hawkeye just being like a normal guy when he's not in the Avengers. He's just like by himself hanging, and it was a really good series, very funny, like a coming like a comic view. I mean, a lot of the Hawkeyes are written like that now, and then also Vision was a series written by Tom King, and it was just really good. And Tom King's a great writer. Before he went to DC, I mean, he does good stuff for DC too. He writes for Batman. He writes Batman, and he does a good job on that. I think he's still writing Batman. I'm not sure, but yeah. So, and then Thor, I just really like Thor. I just really like. I mean, the same way you like him, Azarith. I just like the whole idea and the mythos behind him. So I just think it's really cool.
Yeah.
But I mean, okay. So I think we talked a lot about a wide variety of topics today. I mean, in general, TJ, Azarith, what are your final thoughts on winning the Team World Championship, and also your overall experience, I guess, in Memphis? I mean, how many times have you been to Memphis now for the World Championships?
TJ, that was TJ's first visit.
TJ, this is your first time?
That was
That
my
was my first time
second.
going to Worlds since it was at like Origins.
Mm-hmm.
So was
And
it
that was
2018 was the last time they were at Origins, or
uh
2017 actually? Because they
2017
did 2018 they did
in Philly.
PAX.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so I
And
hadn't
then
been more than
it
5
was my
years.
second.
this is your second. So I guess my question is, what was your overall experience like, and what are your final thoughts?
Yeah, go ahead, TJ.
So it's great to be back with that many people again playing Heroclix. So we hadn't done that. I hadn't done that since 2019 Origins, I think, was Nationals. So last time I had that many people playing Clix. So that was a huge boost for me to see the game isn't dying like we hear all the time. The game's dying, and then you see 168 people playing Worlds, and then you walk in the other room, and it's just three full rows of tables playing Battle Royals and side events. And so there's, I don't know how many people were there. It had to be close to 300 for the total event. So just seeing that, it just tells you the game's in a good state from what I've seen previously of, the 80-person nationals events that we've seen before. And I had a blast. Like no game did I ever have an opponent that was, upset about being there, upset about the game. They all enjoyed the game. They made the game more fun. The conversation between players was better than it's ever been, I think. So overall, great experience. Memphis itself, at night times, Memphis. I've never been to Memphis before in my life. So that was an experience at nighttime. Still not sure what happened up the road from us the last night
at the Mexican restaurant.
at the Mexican restaurant.
I feel like there's a story to be told there. I don't know.
Literally, we drove past it and there were just cop cars like outside, like lights flashing.
There's 12 cop cars in the semicircle formation right outside the door of this Mexican restaurant, and they all had their lights on. So it's like, don't know the story there. I tried to search the news for something and couldn't find anything because I guess Memphis has issues every night, so searching news stories is hard. Yeah, but overall, very good experience. The hotel bar was, I don't know, a little slow.
They were definitely overwhelmed with what was going on. They could have been a lot better. Yeah,
I think they had two big groups there at the same time, though.
Yeah,
and so I'm not going to fault them for. I'm not going to fault the wait staff except for their communication.
That one.
Yeah. They didn't do good communicating the issues that they were having, which if you just tell me what's going on, I don't have an issue.
Yep.
Like, cool,
I'm much more understanding when I know.
Yeah. But everything else, top notch. Even like the people that were doing the food in the convention center itself, really pleasant. It helped you out, like give you recommendations on where to go that's safe to go eat if you weren't going to eat there with them. So I thought that was great for people that aren't from the area. I have zero complaints about the Worlds event itself.
Yeah, I mean, I think. So, Azarith, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so this being my second Worlds at Memphis, it was better than the first one. Couple of like minor things that I think they need to just shore up for the future. Basically just comes down to the store. I think if they went to more of a pre-order style and then like you show your proof of purchase and pick up at the store, you're not going to have people like me who ended up playing in events all weekend and the store was closed when I finally had time and I finally got to the store and the stuff that I wanted was sold out. Which was unfortunate. But I think they can shore that up, and that's a very minor nitpick on it. To kind of echo what TJ said, it's great to see everybody back in person. I actually made a post about this a couple days ago, wanting to get people who considered themselves casual players, who came to Worlds and played in a competitive event, if their original opinions of the competitive scene had changed. Because I know a lot of the people that vocally bark about the competitive meta and the competitive scene and competitive players is very negative. That we're all a bunch of rule sharks and we're looking to win at all costs and we're all a bunch of assholes. And almost everyone that replied to that post was I'm a casual player, I'm a newer player, I came to Worlds, this is my first competitive event, and everyone was amazing. Every opponent was amazing. I'm like, that is what I've been looking for. Because I think too many people vocally shit on the meta community and don't actually understand what it is.
Yeah, no, I mean that's good to hear. I mean, overall, I just think everybody was so nice. I mean, players and the staff.
I didn't have a single bad opponent all weekend.
Yeah,
And I think that's something different too. You see at our competitive events is like if there's a rules question, they're not saying you just can't do that. They don't tell you that. There's like, hey, maybe we should ask the judge if you can do that. They don't just assert that this is how it has to be.
Yep.
And I see that in everything because the rules are,
several
pages long. And then there's
Game's
another
hard.
rule book that's the comprehensive rule book that's, another 30 pages long. So nobody, I don't think, knows all the rules. And then you read a card and it it intentionally breaks the rules because that's the nature of good traits is
Yeah.
to let you do something you normally can't do. And everyone up there, if there was a question, you ask the judge, you get an answer in a couple seconds, and you move on and you learn something. And sometimes what you thought was right, sometimes it's not. But nobody was angry about that ever if that was a situation.
Yeah. One situation I was a little worried might come up would be players getting soured and upset over dice and blowing up because of it, not necessarily even at their opponent, but just making a bit of a scene. And I think I didn't hear any issues like that. So that was something that I was a little worried about with us all coming back to in person for the first time in a while. Because we all like complain about our dice on Roll20, like that just happens. But it was nice to not hear that like this person threw a fit because his dice were bad. And it just kind of sours the mood of the game. And having been at a table like that, it's a very uncomfortable position to put your opponent in.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I'm sitting at a table and my opponent is complaining about their dice the whole game to the point where they're like starting to like boil and get to the explosion point, it is very uncomfortable to sit at the table that way. And it's like, I don't know what to say. So Heroclix players, keep doing what you're doing.
yeah. I mean, I agree. I mean, and we've all had that experience where like, at least I've had that experience myself where like, sometimes you play someone and they start to boil up because their dice aren't working out for them that game. But it happens. But overall, I think the community is great. Like, I think the Heroclix community is just really great. It's one of the best gaming communities that there is. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like to play this game. I think the community is so supportive that, I can feel comfortable playing people and just having a good time. And when I went to Worlds, I mean, to speak to what TJ said earlier, I was, when I was bragging to my family and friends back home about like, hey, I won the Team World Championship, and I was just telling everybody that I knew, and they're like, well, who were your teammates? And I said, this guy TJ and this guy Azarith, these buddies of mine, and they said, well, did you like practice? Did you know them? Like how well did you know them? And I'm like, well, I know them from Facebook, right? and I mean, I'm like, they're good guys.
Azarith said we weren't practicing.
Yeah, actually, this is like a little behind the scenes, but like I started a group chat, and Azarith was like, we don't need to practice, and
yeah, Tony was like, I want like let me know whenever you guys want to get on and practice. I go on a pool. It's like, I'm gonna be real with you here, man. I'm not doing it.
Okay, but me and Tony got on one night and did do this
Roll20,
open the boosters, and Tony ended up playing 3 of the pieces he used against me that night on his team.
Oh wow, nice!
Because he had Rogue and Magneto and the Cyclops that night. So
awesome.
You can say that practice didn't pay off, but Cody's an example that he got to do that during
Sure,
practice.
sure.
I mean, my point is that like a lot of these people that we saw at Worlds, they basically hadn't really known each other outside of Facebook,
Yeah.
and so meeting them for the first time was just a great experience. Just like being able to
Yes.
see everybody and talk to people and make connections in a wonderful community like this. I think it's great.
Worlds was only the second time that I'd met TJ, and him and I are on the same team.
Yeah.
Third time.
Nationals.
Kokomo.
Kokomo. Forgot about Kokomo.
Yeah. But this is actually my first real year traveling with
Yeah.
Clix. So, I mean, I did Huntsville, I did Kokomo, I did Nationals and Worlds. That's the first time I've really done that to an extent. Normally I stay in Kentucky and Tennessee and then would venture up to Origins.
Once you get the travel bug, it doesn't stop. I'm telling you that right now.
I know I've tried to tell myself not to go to Florida, but
Oh, I'll be there.
because
Azarith, you're going to Orlando. You're going to the
Yep.
to the
Got
Clix.
got the hotel booked. We got our flights booked, and we got our Disney tickets paid for. So we're all set.
Who's your teammate for the who are your teammates that you're playing with?
So I'm not playing in the 2v2 Prince and Popper, but for the teams event, it's going to be I believe it's Sam, myself, and Dan.
Nice.
I got a message tagged in our group chat that was like, "As you're with me and Dan." It's
Yep,
like, or you're
I
with
saw
me and
that.
Sam. I'm like, okay. I don't know if I'm the only choice or if I was the choice.
I mean, you're a world champion, as you have to be the choice now.
I guess I have to
Right?
be. I'm gonna bomb so bad.
No, but like being an accountant, the first week of the year is a really tough time for me to take off.
Yeah.
Believe it, I've been working in like pharmaceutical insurance for most of my adult life, and I would go to a convention that happens at the beginning of January every year. Very hard to get time off at that time when everybody's insurance policies roll over.
Yep.
But I mean, I think overall, Worlds was great. I'm looking forward to the Clix Cup or the Champion Clix Cup in Florida. But that's the next event. I'm pretty sure that's going to be Avengers Forever. I'm looking forward to that set as well, right? And
maybe a chance of its Batman team up.
Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens, right? But I think everybody's expecting that set to be delayed. But
yeah, I would count on Avengers Forever and hope for Batman.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
But already been working on team building for 300 Modern. I took like 4 days off I took like a week off to recoup from Worlds, and then I had to go to Nationals for another card game that I play. And then I got back, and I'm like, okay, now we can kind of get back into the building group.
How can you team build for 300 Modern yet if Avengers Forever hasn't come out yet though?
So the way I'm approaching it is I'm building what I want to play, and then I will look at Avengers Forever and see if it changes anything.
Okay.
And see if there's anything in that set that I want to change and want to play. And then if you have a core starting point, it actually makes the new set easier to digest for that team.
Mm-hmm.
Agree.
Especially because my team that I played at Worlds is dead.
Because of Collector? Because of Collector?
Collector, and I'm highly anticipating a errata for Apocalypse.
That's true. Yeah. Okay.
I just feel like your Apocalypse errata is not going to actually affect.
It's not going to affect my version.
No, the single build Apocalypse are going to be fine.
Unless they go to like some weird thing that I've been hearing people talk about.
So are you thinking it's just going to be unique, and that's it?
I think that's the easy fix if you want to just deal with the triple Apocalypse problem. I've been seeing people like talk about like maybe the Pogs give up points, and I'm like, well, that makes him unplayable.
Mm-hmm. Right, agree. But I think what did we see in top 16? 2 Apocalypse teams, 3, and we had 4 Thanos teams in top 16, 4 or 5.
There were 3 Thanoses or 3 Apocalypses in top 16. 2 of them played each other,
right?
Because Jason played Easton, Jason won the roll off against Easton. I beat Joe, so there were 2 in top 8, and none in top 4. Or sorry,
Ed
none in
was
the finals.
Ed was also in top 16, so there were 4
Was he?
apocalypses. Yeah.
Oh, who'd he lose to?
I don't know.
Okay, so there
He
were
was playing at the far left side.
Okay, so there were 4 in top 16 and then 2 in top 8.
What'd you guys think of Saul's team too? I mean, Saul had a great team with the.
Yeah, it was great. I'd actually been seeing Easton practicing a variation of a team like that a couple of months ago before he switched to Apocalypse, and it's sick. Like, it's really cool what it can do.
Yeah,
winning map against Jason was a big deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But we worked with Tyler a few months ago trying to help him get the full map rune figured out.
Yeah, and that was we weren't using the angler, and
we were sold. Were we? He was sold on Theme Team.
Sure.
And we had no Mad Gem.
Yep.
At the time, so we couldn't get the angler on her.
Yeah.
Without choosing to not have the Darkhold.
Yeah, if anybody at home, if you're interested in looking at or finding out more about world champion Saul Elizondo's team, I do have an episode dedicated to that where I interview him.
Do you guys go over how it delivers the rune full map?
Yes, we go in depth. Like the first 20 minutes of the video is just him talking in depth about how his team works.
Yeah, because somebody in our group chat was asking, like, how does it deliver rune map? I'm like, he's like, do you need Venom Magneto? I'm like, yes.
Yes, you definitely do. Yeah.
It requires 2 full TKs.
You also need Marvella.
Yeah.
Because you need the sidestep carry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
And then you perplex up range, I think.
Yeah, it's you TK, do the first TK power, perplex up Venom Magneto's range, sidestep, carry him to square 5, so that you can TK to square 20 to 14. She anglers to 20, runes to 23.
Yeah, that's how it works.
And unfortunately for Jason, the apocalypses are 2x2s and can't be placed in the back row.
Yep. And then Jason's tarot deck baited him into thinking you could kill Scarlet Witch that turn. I think if Jason just resets the apocalypses, I think Saul's in for a much harder game. But he didn't, and Saul punished him for it.
I would have made the same choice Jason did.
We all said, like, the 3 of us, me, Jason, and TJ all said our gut reaction was to go for it. And as soon as we thought about it for like 2 minutes, we were like, nope.
but to me, like, it's a Hail Mary. If you hit those 3 attacks, she's dead.
She's dead. Yeah.
The game's over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's game over at that point. So, I mean, I get why he did it. I would have done the same thing and probably had the same result.
But yeah, Saul's team was great. I loved it. I watched the game against Isaac, and rollouts are good.
That Felix Faust just did not
want to die.
Because I stayed, and geez, it just wouldn't go away. It was so good.
There's also a really good interaction with one of the tarot cards and Felix Faust.
The High Priestess.
Yeah.
He had, yeah.
Or Queen of Wands. No, whichever one is the +1 to all D6 rolls.
Yeah, he had the Queen of Wands one turn, and then I think the other turn he had the one that does super senses as well.
Ace of Cups.
Yeah, so he had those like back-to-back turns.
Yeah.
And one turn, I think Isaac had the Queen of Cups. So like 3 turns in a row.
Yeah, Isaac had the Queen on the turn that the Faust wouldn't die.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah.
Rough.
Yeah, because everybody plays that tarot card because it's so good. So you'll have a lot of.
Exactly.
Not this guy.
You do.
That is if you ever listen to me talk about tarot, it's low impact cards. Never play a card that could help your opponent.
Okay.
That's my philosophy.
All right.
That's a good philosophy. I play the ones that help me the most and should only impact me in mirror matches.
Thanos has a little bit of a different story because every fucking tarot card is good for him.
Well, TJ Azarith, thank you for joining me. Once again, congratulations to everybody here on the Heroclix Team World Championship for 2022. Thanks for joining me.
And potential 2023.
Potential for next year.
sure.
Yeah.
We're teaming up again next year.
Yep,
I
absolutely.
mean, that just has to be a thing.
Yeah.
Yep, for sure.
I'm excited to do that again. Hopefully I can get off work because for me September is difficult. So
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm super excited to try to defend. I think that'd be really cool. So, all right, thanks guys, and everybody at home, thanks for watching. And don't forget, wake up and smell the Clix.